And I don't know. Where even is that? This video started with me taking to the internet in an attempt to find the most realistic FNAF fan game, and this was pretty much the first result. However, is this true? Hey girls, guys, and all people like it, is Mox here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're playing FNAF Rewritten, and as I just said, this is supposedly the most realistic FNAF fan game according to search result 1 of the internet. And while I am very interested in whether or not that's true, I am more interested in the rewritten part of FNAF Rewritten. But we are gonna jump right into the game. Okay, I quite like this. It's a pretty good menu. Whoa, cutscene, help wanted, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, all the things. Oh wow, we're right in it. And right off the bat, I could tell the visuals were amazing, but my performance wouldn't be. I make note of this a few times throughout the playthrough, but I am terrible at FNAF 1. It's one of my favorite games aesthetically, and it has those pure FNAF paranormal vibes. But despite playing so much FNAF, I never really got the hang of the first game. It's also at this point, right at the beginning, that I realize I made a terrible mistake on the settings screen, and that mistake would plague me for the rest of the game. I'm gonna stick with mouse camera controls and just see how that goes. I absolutely hated the mouse camera controls. They were just so finicky and I felt like I was looking all over the place, out of control. But we'll talk about that more in a little bit. As usual, we have a phone guy here to explain our situation to us. Since this game is a rewrite of the original FNAF, he doesn't have anything too groundbreaking to tell us, just the usual try not to die and...
The animatronic characters here do get a bit quirky at night, but...
Okay, he said the thing. And I don't mind this. It still feels very FNAF, more so than I can say for a few other fan games, and that's so impressive to me that they kept the same vibe while updating so many of the visuals. This is a lot of information with no subtitles. The only real interesting thing Phone Guy mentioned was the bite of 87, which isn't new by any means, but I am curious if that will end up actually being important in this version of the FNAF story. Some other things worth noting at this point are the animatronics begin to move immediately. They don't wait for Phone Guy to finish talking or anything like that. Now, I didn't end up finding out if you can die during the phone call, but I have to assume that it's possible. And another thing is the cameras don't drain your power at all. I absolutely love that because so many FNAF games, fan games and official, don't let you really appreciate the environments made for the cameras and overall location, because you end up spending so much time worrying about the mechanics in the office. Okay, so right off the bat, I hate the controls. Yeah, I wish there were subtitles. Maybe I missed... Jesus. Hello. The zooming in, I hate it immensely. I hate it a lot. Oh, fuck. I just want to look at the book. I guess you're not really meant to very often. I don't know. Where even is that? Oh shit. So because this is only night 1, I think this might be a good time to go over the Game Jolt page and some of the story. Taking a look at one of the gallery images, we get some explanation as to what the dev is trying to accomplish here. Basically, they're saying this isn't meant to be FNAF but better. It's simply a new take on the story and their attempt at reliving the fun of playing OG FNAF while telling their own version of the lore. I love this so much, especially because of what they say right here. They're excluding security breach and trying to get rid of some of the sci-fi elements. It's no secret I'm not a fan of the new FNAF lore, and I think that started once it started to include more of these sci-fi things. I'm not sure if that's exactly what I'd call it, but I really liked when the story was more focused on the spirits of William Afton's victims and didn't have, well, hallucinations caused by sounds, synths, and all the other wacky new stuff. Sorry for the little rant, but if we look back in the game, we have this cool little notebook that logs down the in-game time and has a dedicated lore section. I love this little lore section, but I really prefer just seeing the time in the corner of the screen rather than taking away from the game just to check the time. And all that being said, there isn't too much else to cover from the Game Jolt page besides some things I probably should have read before playing. How are we looking in game? Oh, they move! A little bit of FNAF in real time action. Are you allowed to do that? Hey, we did it, okay. Oh, that's cool with the lights on and everything. That's actually really cool. Again, graphics amazing. That I'm hoping is gonna be better because it was not great. That's so much better. Okay, this should be the default. That's all I'm saying. This style of movement really should be the default, but like I said, the controls will continue to torture me for the rest of the game. I also really would have preferred if the camera moved a little faster either way. I really like when it's snappy and fast reaction times feel very rewarding. But once again, Phone Guy gave his usual spiel, and I didn't notice, but he did mention a game mechanic I didn't know was in the game until after I stopped playing. There's a slight fear mechanic where your screen will shake more and more, and you can calm down by... Another thing I wish I realized beforehand. He also mentions leaving the camera on Foxy to trick him into thinking you're still watching. And that's just another really cool change. I almost completely forgot to mention this. It would have completely ruined this video. Yes, you can boop Freddy's nose.
It might be a good idea.
It has a lot of the same ambience noises. Why is the world shaking? Is that just me? Not very nice. Who is there? Wow, that's cool. Wow, that's weird. Wow, I really need to stop saying that. Despite my own personal issues with the gameplay, there's no denying that this game does an amazing job with the Easter eggs and adding kind of smaller but really cool events like the carousel moving. If I'm not mistaken, that is a sound effect from the original FNAF, but now it has a visual to go along with it. Stuff like that really makes a fan game for me, and I'm sure there are a bunch of Easter eggs I missed, but I do recall seeing a few references to the missing children in the form of posters around the cameras. Speaking of Easter eggs, we got some lore. I wouldn't say I'm a fan of lore dumps happening in a notebook we keep because it feels a little more whimsical and less paranormal, but I do like the direction of the story so far because it feels like a story I know and understand. I don't know where the official FNAF lore sits right now, but I assume these writings are referring to Mike, the person we play as, being Michael Afton. That's why the animatronics recognize you. You shoved one of their friends into Fredbear's mouth, and you look like your old man, William Afton. At least that's the idea I've always subscribed to for the official games, but I guess we'll find out what it means for this game. Maybe that's who we're writing to, maybe they rewrote it because this is a rewrite of the original story, and I love that. Because the original story... Fucking... Okay. Oh god, okay. Week 2. No, wait, why are we... I was not joking when I said the controls plagued me for the entire game. For no apparent reason, they kept changing back to mouse controls before every run, unless I manually selected keyboard controls beforehand. Could you say that's slightly my fault for not remembering? No, you can't. You're not allowed to. But in some better news, we got more lore. Someone wants to help us. Someone we know, despite the others not wanting them to. Based on the last lore entry, my best guess would be that this is Crying Child. This is the person the others don't want to forgive. They think we did a bad thing to them, but they still want to forgive us. It just makes sense that it would be our brother. But as usual, Phone Guy starts giving us our pep talk. However, this time, the person writing to us tells us not to listen to them. Freddy will be moving tonight and he can go anywhere at any time. And this lines up with Freddy's mechanics in FNAF 1, but telling us not to listen to Phone Guy is interesting to me. Now this might be a bit of a stretch, but try to hear me out. In FNAF 1, Phone Guy acts as both a way to explain the mechanics and, I think for a lot of people, as a voice of comfort. Just hearing a friendly voice makes anyone feel safe in a scary situation, and in the case of FNAF 1, the player can't be attacked and nothing scary can even happen while he's talking. So for this game to have a second person, someone we feel the need to trust, tell us not to listen to him is interesting to me. I like them kind of flipping things around like this and planting mistrust in certain characters and maybe adding some lore to a character who didn't play a very significant role in the original story, despite everyone thinking that he did. And speaking of story, slightly later in the night, we get more text in our lore book. But he always laughs when he moves. Fuck, shut the door. Oh, fuck, shut the door. What the fuck? Right on schedule, right on time. That was insane. The person writing says they're trapped in a room with her, but they think if we let them out, then she'll let them forgive us. That's nothing too new, but a cool way to introduce a possible goal for the player to achieve. I think we're okay. Okay. Okay, well, power's out, so hopefully we make it through the rest of this night. I can't tell if this is just how it's supposed to be. That bugged out so bad. After spending a good 2 seconds reading through the game joke. God, stop defaulting to the damn mouse. Yeah, after reading some of the game joke page, I found out a few things. One of them being that the cameras don't take any power, which is awesome. I absolutely love that. And I never end up explaining what that second thing was. Neither recording me, script writing me, or editing me know what I was going to say. But I will say, I promise I'll stop bringing up the controls. I just need you to be just as annoyed as I was by the end of this game. Also, a minute ago, I said Freddy's mechanics line up with FNAF 1, and I was wrong. In all honesty, I still don't really understand Freddy's mechanics. It's a curse at this point. He acts slightly differently in this game, but somehow I still don't entirely get it, and maybe I never will. I do understand it functionally, and I'll get to that in a minute, but in the meantime, I died over and over. Okay. Fuck, oh, the cameras. He didn't even laugh. He didn't laugh. How was I supposed to know? I was starting to get frustrated and ended up doing some proper research, which means I scrolled through the comments on Game Troll, which led me to find the only thing I really got from looking things up was literally check every single camera until you find Freddy, and if he's not on the cameras, guess where he's at? He's at your door, and if he laughs again, then he left your door and he's on the cameras. I don't particularly like that system. I don't want to have to check every single camera because I feel like that's going to result in my death. It's funny how many people also struggled with Night 3 specifically. I think that's hilarious. So I think recording me summed it up pretty nicely. I've said this before, I really like learning new FNAF mechanics and seeing how one affects another and just how it's all balanced. But I just don't don't really understand this one. I feel like especially during the later nights, I'll be too caught up with the other animatronics to focus on checking every camera for Freddy, only to occasionally not even find him, and maybe by then he'll have already got me. I wish I could tell you this isn't the case, but I just don't know. I am crushed to say I could not beat this FNAF fan game. This game bested me, but I did lose my mind along the way, so here's that. God. Whoa! Endoskeleton stood up, that's cool. Like, I'm sorry if I'm kind of complaining about nothing. Looking for Freddy in every single camera, there has to be a better way to do that. There's no way I hit Freddy. Okay, hello. Let me make sure my camera controls are correct. Let me check the cameras. Literally all of them. I cannot get past night 3, and that is such a shame, but I'm gonna have to leave it here. That's all the time I have for today. But overall, this fan game is one of the, yeah, I can say it is a very realistic FNAF fan game. I don't want to be too nitpicky, but if I'm talking about purely most realistic FNAF fan game, I wouldn't say that it necessarily is. I don't know what is, but it definitely still has the this is a video game feel, and that's quite nitpicky because visually very, very cool, stunning even. Very cool to see the original crew just with these insane models and textures. And the story, although I don't know very much of it yet, I'm very excited to see more. I'll try to look into ways to get through this night, and if you guys want to see me do more, let me know down in the comments below. I'd like to get through this because while on their Game Jolt page, I realized that there is a 2 and they're working on 3, so FNAF 2 and 3. FNAF 2, probably my favorite FNAF game, so I would absolutely love to give that a try, and I would absolutely love for you to hit the like button. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this. Stay tuned for more. I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.